A very interesting topic here today about the role of AI in terms of marketing optimization and how do you better tune your marketing strategies. We have two experienced panelists here, and as we speak, they'll also share on how it's possible to find synergies between these two. I mean, while one is an edtech and one is a search engine, job search engine, but I believe there are synergies between those two diverse verticals. I'd not like to waste any time. Straight away, I'll start by asking our panelists. If you can give us some examples of use cases in your own industry, what you're using, it would be, and specific use cases, what you're using or seeing in your own industry. Can I start with you? Anybody here?
Okay, so hi, good evening, everyone. So I think I'll introduce what we do first and then kind of go into the role of AI and how we are kind of dabbling with a few things here and there. These are early days, mind you. So AI, everyone is talking about, but one has to tread also cautiously because there are things around legacy, around legal frameworks, around consent, etc., which one has to be aware about. So I represent Foundit, which was formerly Monster, which was a job board. From a job board, we've kind of now traversed this journey to become a career management platform. Now, what does that mean? That means not just jobs, but also when people are looking at upskilling or they want to assess themselves or they're looking for mentorships, that's also something that the platform offers today. We have two sets of customers, right? One is recruiters who come to our platform to search for the right candidate. And on the other side are the seekers, which are the candidates which are either searching for a new job or they are in the market trying to upskill themselves, assess themselves, etc. So on the recruiter side, I will first talk about, because that's a fundamentally more important piece for us and also an easier piece to solve, because there the issues of consent, of legal framework are lesser than on the seeker side. So on the recruiter side, in our earlier days, the way the recruiter would come and search for candidates, they would either post a job on the website and then they will wait for the seekers to kind of come in and apply, or they will access the database that we sit on. So we sit on about 70 million seekers on our data, on our platform. So they will kind of go there, look at the database and find the relevant candidates. So it was a very manual effort beyond just using the tech to search, etc. So what AI has done, some of the examples that I would want to talk about is the entire search algorithm. So today when a recruiter comes on our platform to search for the relevant candidates, there is something called a Boolean search that gets into effect. What that means is that it kind of uses multiple combinations, large language models, algorithms, and big data analysis to throw up the results. So let's take an example wherein a person from TCS, a recruiter from TCS is searching for a relevant candidate, which is a full stack developer. And a person from Flipkart is also searching for a full stack developer. Now the search results that earlier would come, like 2 years from now, 2 years earlier, would be the same for both. Today the search results are very, very different because the algorithm and the large language models look at you as a user, your behavior in the past, your company, and hence for the same skill sets, what would be the most relevant candidate for you. And hence a TCS guy on the first page will see very different candidates than a Flipkart person, right? So that's one thing, and it has driven a lot of efficiency, productivity, time wastage that was happening earlier. So it's really kind of giving the recruiters a leg up in that front. So that's one area where AI is really working well. I will take one small example on the seeker side. India specifically is a market where you are very good in your own native language, not necessarily English. Now, people sitting in this room might not have that problem, but when you go outside and see, a lot of people will have problem in either conversing in English or writing in English. But a recruiter will always look at resumes and profiles in English, right? So one of the things that we've solved for using AI is something which we call the resume builder. So you give us some information about yourself, basic education details, profile, etc., and we build up the most stunning resume for you, if you will. And we also templatize it and give you various options in which you can build your resume. Even if you build your resume, We tell you that we still have a resume that you can look at, and if you feel that is better than the resume that you've created, you can use that. So these are very, very important and pertinent examples from our business, our landscape.
Yeah. So, like Saurav was telling me outside, he was saying that job search is now like, almost like a Swiggy or a Blinkit kind of a model where the moment a candidate puts up his CV, he expects, the employer to call him and, the job should be served to him instantly. So that's the kind of expectations which have been set, and it's been mirrored in every industry. With this, I will now come to PhysicsWallah. I mean, a brand which is quite well known in the industry. I'd just like you to describe your own use cases.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Shrikant. So PhysicsWallah is an affordable education company. So what we do is across 40 plus categories in test preparation, JEE, NEET, government, banking, SBI, etc. We offer like courses, online courses. And then we have offline courses as well right now for IIT, JEE and NEET. So due to us being an affordable education brand, so the scale we see is really high. And in some of our live classes, we have had 1 lakh plus students as well, like simultaneously studying. So one of the feature we have in our live classes is students can ask their doubts. So what we try to do is to mimic the physical classroom in online medium as well. So on a daily basis, we get about 20,000 of doubts, and these doubts should be answered within 24 hours. So we have a lot many SMEs sitting in background answering those questions. So out of those 20,000, like first we need to do the class, this segregation that how many are academic doubts and how many are non-academic. So we use AI over there to do this segregation. Then after doing this segregation, any doubt is asked over any of the slides which teacher was teaching. So that slide along with the question is fed as a prompt to AI, and then SME gets an auto-generated answer. If SME is not satisfied with that answer, they can do some edits and then like post it based on those queries. So that is one of the use cases of AI at PW. Second one is like this one we launched in January this year, and on top of it now we have enabled students as well. Like each student may not have a unique doubt. Many of the doubts may have been asked earlier as well. So what we are doing is we are using doubt clustering, and we are recommending questions to a student which have been asked earlier and which have been answered by our SMEs. So there as well, like what we see is 25% lesser doubts after rolling out this doubt clustering. Then another use case we see like we have in our company implemented is micro learning. So these students, they are in their teenage, and like along with studying, they go to Instagram to watch reels or YouTube to watch shorts. So what we have implemented is that we have implemented quick learning on PW application, and there we use AI recommendation model, and what we see is like about 60 to 70,000 students come on a daily basis to watch those reels, and or quick learning I should call. So in this quick learning we have material which is basically motivational material regarding formulas or something which can be learned within a minute, and these 60 70,000 students on an average watch 4 to 5 reels on a daily basis. Along with that, for test preparation, question practice is a very important thing, and there we have adaptive question practice, and what we see is on a daily basis, 500,000 questions are practiced on a daily basis. So these are like few AI use cases we have at PW.
Okay. Very interesting. Generative AI has kind of taken the world by storm, and I'm sure that there will be enough examples in your own domains. The future of learning or the future of job search is kind of going to be very different from what is being now. Would you like to kind of take a peek at the future in terms of, or the current capabilities also, in terms of what can be done and what is the future?
So there are two important use cases when you talk about generative AI. One is, which we've been doing for a while now, but it's also got augmented with AI, is when somebody applies for a job, you also send him similar job recommendations saying if you've applied for X job, maybe A, B, and C are also relevant for you and you should look at that, right? And that we've been doing for a while now. Where we kind of were not doing that well was in terms of how do you prepare a candidate or a seeker for a job that he's applied for. And this is where we've now started using machine learning in a big way. And what it does is when somebody applies for a job, it looks at your profile, what you've done in the past, the kind of roles that you've had, your educational background, right, and your skill set. And then it looks at the job that you've applied for, that company. And we have data of seekers who have applied to the same job, right? It does all of that triangulation and is able to send you within nanoseconds about 5 to 6 questions which are very important for you to prepare in terms of your interview for this job. And this has now started happening with machine learning and AI, wherein the moment somebody applies for a job, he gets in his mailbox 4 or 5 very, very relevant interview questions that he or she can prepare for. The other thing that happens over there is that if somebody feels that they don't know the answers to some of these questions that have come into their mailbox, they can get into a mentorship session where they can ask for a session with a mentor who has either worked in the same organization or a similar role or organization. And this helps them prepare better for the interview that they're looking at. Imagine doing this at scale without AI and machine learning. It was not possible because every day we get about 1 lakh applies. And if you were to do it any other way, it would not happen. But with AI, we are able to kind of solve this problem really, really well. And the beauty of this is no two people get the same set of questions unless otherwise there's an exact match between their job history, their roles, and the job that they've applied for.
Fantastic. Yes, sir.
So again, our main focus is to enable students learn at their own pace. So each student has their own pace of learning. Some may learn concepts really fast. Some may take some time to dive into basically a concept, study some examples, then attempt questions. So right now we are working on, we are using generative AI to design a personalized learning path for each student. And how we are doing it is basically breaking down each topic into concepts, and then concepts as theory. Along with theory, there are examples, there are variation of examples, there are variation of practice questions. And this is what we are working on, and probably in next 2 to 3 months we'll be able to launch it. But if you talk about future of generative AI and how it could be used to enhance the learning experience, so basically each student has certain preferences that they like a particular teacher. So if we can have this thing like a personalized learning path with a student's favorite teacher, that is what we would like to see happen in near future.
Okay, interestingly, I've just run out of time. So I think I have just about 1 minute left. So what I'll do is quickly summarize, not summarize exactly, but what could be the future, for example. So I certainly see, based on the discussions which I have had with these two gentlemen, their paths converging in sense. So for example, if PhysicsWallah is designing certain content, for example, the data or the learning or the AI which is part of a search engine like Foundit, for example, can really recommend what kind of candidates they should train, for example, what kind of skills are needed. That should happen in real time. And also, interestingly, the competition, if you hear from them, so for example, if PhysicsWallah believes that the competition is not the traditional ed tech firms, but something like a Netflix or a YouTube, for example, because ultimately they are consuming content and they believe that similarly for Foundit, I mean, the competition could be something like Blinkit as an example, because they see the parameters being, or the competition, they would like to be as fast as or as nimble as the other e-commerce firms are. So I would certainly would have liked to speak more to these wonderful gentlemen, but unfortunately I've run out of time. But I believe the future is very different. If I can just have one sentence from you in terms of, if we are to meet again on this same board here, say maybe not 5 years, 2 years, because 5 years probably is too long a time right now. What would you see being done differently, quickly? Yeah.
Very difficult, but I think the future is now. I think with AI and a lot of tech, advancement that are happening, one should look at this as a way to augment whatever you're doing more than anything else. So when I hear things around, will people get redundant? It's not about that. Human capital is not going to get redundant. It is about how you use AI to augment whatever you're doing and build on the capabilities. And I think it's very difficult to crystal ball gaze anything. So I would not risk that.
Yeah, so what I feel about AI is it is a very exciting space and very good tool at our disposal, and no one should be afraid of it. Instead, we should embrace it, and we should see how our productivity and efficiency source when we fully embrace it. Thank you.
So thank you for these wonderful insights. I'd like to end this panel right here, and I believe these two gentlemen will be outside in the hall, so please feel free to exchange insights from them. Thank you.